Welcome, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. This is the tip of the day. This is day 29. I don't know if you'll remember, actually, Patricia, during our Facebook Live Q&A right before it, she reminded me, she said, what happened to your tip of the day? And so I was like, I need to resurrect this tip of the day. So this is day 29. And today I wanted to talk about something that we actually watched Eckhart speak about yesterday. And I have a tip regarding that from my own personal experience. So yesterday, when we were in our group meditation, we always, on Fridays and every third Sunday, we watch like a 20-minute Eckhart video. And it always has some kind of amazing insight in it. And so yesterday he was saying, we have to gain this, I'm going to paraphrase, I don't exactly remember his words, but he was saying, we need to gain this capacity to have this ability of self-observation. And he brought up the story of the Zen abbot who was in his monastery. A governor was, I think this is from A New Earth. He said a governor was visiting, and so when the Zen abbot went to greet the governor, he saw that his palms were sweaty. So in that, the Zen monk says, Zen abbot says that he needed to leave his monastery and actually overcome this, I guess, the feeling of being less than the governor because he was just a abbot. So that means his ego was still in place. So anytime we work this comparison, when we are feeling more than or less than, then that's our ego strengthening itself through that heart formation. So I got reminded of, I loved his pointer that this self-observation is really, really important. I mean, the best thing we can do, develop our presence practice and have this capacity to self-observe what is going on within us. And if you'll watch the Facebook Live Q&A, Kelly and Kelly always say, that's why Qigong is so important. Knowing and inhabiting your body is so important. Eckhart says the same thing. The inner body is really, really important. So I'll give you an example. Back in 2019, I had changed jobs where I was working from home 3 days from at home, and 2 days I would drive, and the drive was not that far. And we had flexible hours, so I could drive in and then come back home. So I had worked that way like for 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 years. And so I had gotten used to, the body had gotten used to being at home, working from home. And then I started to drive into work. So what I noticed is like I had to drive all 5 days, Monday through Friday. I had to drive into work. There was no working from home policy at the company that I was working at. And then I noticed that in the evening, when I was driving back home, I would feel like a certain like flutter in the bottom pit of my stomach. Like if we don't know how to inhabit our body, we miss that. We'll just think that, oh, it's something different, right? We've just attributed to I'm hungry or something, but I knew that something was going on. So for a few days, I observed that every day in the evening, I would have this flutter in the bottom pit of my stomach. And so then I did this analysis, since I'm such a huge proponent of limiting beliefs, and that's what all the tips have been for the past 29 days. I knew there was some limiting belief that was creating that flutter, right? So on the outside, there was no change in my behavior, nothing of that sort. It was just that I would feel that slight flutter of irritation every day in the evening. And then I realized this is what it is my body has gotten used to being at home 3 days a week. And the fact that I have to go into traffic, right, and deal with rush hour traffic, that is what is causing me the irritation. So always never look for things outside to change. Always look within yourself, what can change, right? So I was like, so what can I do to change within myself that would make this situation not somewhere where I have this irritation? So one, I looked upon the fact that within 2 weeks of being told that I was going to be laid off, I found this new job. I was like, what a grace that I could transition from one job to another. I didn't have that much of severance, so it's like I didn't have to undergo any kind of penalties by changing jobs. It just so happened that God's grace or the universe's grace provided me with the second job. So experiencing the gratitude for that, that kind of alleviated some of it. Then I went, okay, if I am feeling this frustration because traffic is more demanding on, like if you're in rush hour and you're driving in rush hour traffic and it feels more demanding, then what can I do? And I realized if I leave at 6:30 in the morning, then and come back home like at 4, like work 7 to 4, then traffic is not that bad. I can make it home within 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And that's what I did is I changed my patterns of, figured out the traffic. I changed how I drove into work and everything dissolved. So this is my tip of the day, is always have that power of self-observation. And the fact that it is so fresh from last night's video, I wanted to provide that as a tip. So with that, many blessings, much love. Thank you. Bye.